Welcome back to Grassroots Media. Welcome back to this week's edition of the Malone Tracker Service Evan Monroe Show, presented by Critters Corner, where we cover everything on the field here at the Reigns with the West Greene Buffaloes. As always, I'm joined here with head coach Evan Monroe. Coach, how we doing this evening?
Doing great, man.
Got the new white helmets in front of us. They look clean. I like them.
Thank you. I was looking around. I was like, we need to change something up a little bit. And, you know, I'm a big fan of the white helmet, so I was like, let's go with that.
It's got sort of a new logo, too. Would you classify it as a new logo?
Yeah. Actually, it's kind of a throwback logo in the early, mid-'80s. Kind of used the Buffalo Bills with the extra flag down it. And I was kind of like, well, let's just go with the regular old Buffalo. And I kind of like it. Looks clean, looks sharp, look good on Friday night.
It gives you a new identity in a way.
A little bit.
I like it. We'll see them soon. Hopefully we'll see them this Friday.
Absolutely.
At the Jamboree. Yep. But the day that we'll be releasing this next week, it'll be after the Jamboree. But I do want to talk about the Jamboree just a little bit. By the time this does come out, it'll be after the Jamboree. But you've got two county teams competing in it with you hosting, and then South Greene coming down here. You've got a lot of familiar faces coming down here. You'll see South Greene play Cloudland, which will give you the opportunity to scout both teams, considering you play South Greene in region, and then Cloudland will be your second game of the year. You've got Sullivan East and Hampton. Hampton, of course, in region also, and Sullivan East, an opponent towards the end of your season. And then you take on Unaka, an opportunity for some of those teams to see Unaka and scout them also. The Jamboree's always fun. You get to host it this year. How excited are you for it?
Man, I'm pretty excited. I think the guys are excited to have it at home. The past couple of years, it's been a couple different places. It's flipped between Greene County and Carter County. We've done, previous years. Last year was at Hampton. So this year being at home, it's kind of nice to be able to be at your place. Yeah. You can sit back and relax a little bit. You're not worried about, do I have everything that I have to have? For an away game, do I have to make sure I've got everything I need? Did everybody bring their stuff? Hey, we're home. We can relax. Don't have to worry about buses, traveling, things like that. So, it's exciting for the kids to get to come here and play in front of a home crowd first. And for us, get a chance to kind of see four other teams that we played during the regular season is kind of nice for us. I set it up in the way that nobody played a team that they played in the regular season. Nobody plays a region opponent. And for us, we get to kind of look at a couple different teams that we play in the season. So it's kind of nice. I am thankful for Cloudland and Sullivan East. They hadn't participated in last year. They didn't come last year, but had a couple teams drop out on us. So called their coaches, and they were more than happy to come down and participate. So kind of give them a little incentive to that, we take the gate money and we split it amongst all 6 schools.
Okay.
So everybody gets at least a little bit of the gate. So because they'll bring their fans, and they'll buy concessions, and so to kind of help them out and say, hey, we'll pay for your bus ride down. Yeah. Maybe put a little extra in your account. It's always nice for everybody to get that little bit. So thankful for Cloudland and Sullivan East stepping up and filling in for us.
And you talked about how you get to do it here at home, too. Before you play this Friday night, of course, you've got to get the field ready. I know last week we talked about Coach Early was a little upset that the mower messed up on him.
Oh, yeah.
I come this week, looks like it's freshly mowed. Mower's been fixed, or there's a new mower out here, but you got to get the field painted. Looks like you've got a new little friend out there painting the field for you.
I'm telling you, we got us a paint robot this year, and he come by, set it up today, and it's out there painting the numbers now. Tomorrow I'll come out and load it up, and we'll paint the rest of the field for middle school game on Thursday. So I'll probably go back over it Friday, just the outline, make sure the lines are nice, crisp, and look sharp. So it's pretty neat to push a button. Go sit in my office, work on something. I got a little tablet. It'll notify me when it runs out of paint or something's wrong. I go back out, reload a new jug of paint, hit start, go back to my office, work on whatever I need to. No more dragging string, poking for pegs.
Getting help, getting volunteers.
Yes. Involuntary manual labor from children in my advanced PE class. So, not having to fool with rattle cans, and it's a blessing, man. I'm thankful for the school system taking care of that for us. So it's a huge help.
It's fascinating to watch. I know you mentioned you had never seen it before. It's fascinating.
Oh, yeah. And it's real time on that little screen. It'll show you exactly where it's at. It'll show you what lines, like on the numbers. It'll show you what part of the number it's painted, what part it's not. It'll go through and paint the number, and then it'll go to the next one, and you can see exactly where it's at. It's fascinating. It's pretty cool.
I wonder if you can go out there and try to confuse the thing.
Listen,
I don't think you want to, just because you don't want to have anybody fix it. But I wonder how smart that little thing actually is.
I think like you can stop it and take it over. You can drive it over to where you want. It's got a little joystick that you can, like on the touchscreen, it's a little joystick. Drive to wherever you need it to. It'll drive over to where you got your paint stored. You load the new paint in, hit resume. It'll drive back to the exact spot where it was, and it'll resume painting.
So you can watch it from your office window right there.
Yeah.
Have a notification that it's out of paint. You can grab the tablet, bring it to you from the joystick.
Yeah.
Just walk right outside, refill it, and send it right back out.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It is nice to have because it can be on the far end zone. I can just right back to me.
Especially in the heat like this, you don't have to walk all the way down to the other end to refill it.
There is no, leaning over and stabbing the ground with a screwdriver trying to find a peg
Yeah.
through 2 inches of Bermuda or whatever it is. And so it's very nice to have. I'm very thankful.
We've got the Jamboree coming up also, but we've got a few other preseason activities that you've already participated in. Of course, 7-on-7s, we talked about a little bit last week, and then you've had a few scrimmages also. We talked about the team in full last week. We did the roster breakdown. We did the schedule breakdown. What have you kind of learned in some of these preseason activities so far with scrimmages and 7-on-7s? What have you learned from your team?
We're a competitive bunch. They want to do things the right way. Sometimes we still make mental mistakes, and it's little things that we got to fix. But that's what preseason games and things are for.
Yeah.
You go tidy up the little mistakes here and there. We had a good film session Friday. We sat and talked about every little mistake that we could find. We went and we were extremely nitpicky, but that attention to detail can lead to success.
Yeah.
And so for us, it's like, hey, a lot of people don't understand. If a lineman steps with the wrong foot, he may not get that block made. So we nitpick down to which way the linemen were stepping, which foot did they step with. Even if he stepped the right way, if he stepped with the wrong foot, we were that nitpicky about it. Trying to fix little mistakes so that we can go play mistake-free football. So, the guys were very attentive. They want to be coached and want to be corrected. They were a little disappointed with last year. I mean, that's all there is to it. There's no other way to put it. And they want to be successful this year. So they know that attention to detail is important. So the more we're attentive and pushing and making sure we're doing little things right goes a long way for those kids.
Before we cut into the break, I want to talk about how much smaller our audience is this week. We had a large audience last week.
Still a big audience.
It's still a large audience, but the numbers have decreased a lot.
Absolutely.
We've just got one now.
Last week the guys were in here before school had let out, and there was 30 kids piled in here behind the camera. And today we just got my good old offensive coordinator, Coach Hahn. Still large crowd.
Paying no attention to us right now.
I don't blame him. I wouldn't either.
He's just sitting here for the vibes.
It's air conditioned.
That is true. It feels a lot better in here than it does out there. But we'll go ahead and jump into the break. We'll be right back after these messages and continue with the second half. So we'll see you in just a minute here on Grassroots Media.
For more than 30 years, Tommy's Plumbing has served customers in East Tennessee with licensed and professional plumbing services. From installing your new faucet to replacing your existing piping system, our team at Tommy's Plumbing is trained to handle the job with professionalism, attention to detail, and integrity. By offering warranties on most products installed by our technicians, Tommy's Plumbing stands behind our work, ensuring that your plumbing needs are not only met, but that your problem is solved for the long term. When you need reliable and professional plumbing service, Tommy's is the only call to make. So give us a call today and let us show you the Tommy's difference.
Welcome back to Grassroots Media. Welcome back to this week's edition of the Malone Director Service Evan Monroe Show, presented by Critters Corner, where we cover everything on the range with the West Greene Buffaloes. As always, I'm joined here with Buffs head coach Evan Monroe. So you don't start on the range this year. You go on the road the first 2 weeks. You started here at home against North Greene last year. You go on the road to the Tundra to play North Greene in your season opener in 2024 this season. I know North Greene's an opponent that you're very used to.
Yeah.
It's been an in-county rivalry for many years now.
Yeah.
It's the only in-county rivalry game for North Greene still, and they've got you as the first game in their season. So what do you expect when you go into that game against North Greene and you travel down to the Tundra next Friday?
I think North Greene's going to be a really good football team this year. Didn't lose a whole lot from last year. I know the Vaught kid will get a heavy dose of him. He's a stud. If I was Tilson, I don't blame him. I'd ride him till the wheels fell off. But it's not just Vaught. He's got some skill guys. The guy they moved to quarterback kind of has improved a lot. We went up there for a 7-on-7. He was kind of slinging it around a little bit. Let's get some rangy guys in the back. So it'll be a good football game. I think the battle will be won in the trenches. So whoever can kind of win that edge there, I think, has got a good chance to win the ball game. But I just know that it's a rivalry game. It's a county rivalry. It's a game that all the communities look forward to. It'll be packed out there. Our guys, it's a familiar road trip to us. It's nothing crazy. So, I kind of like having the Jamboree here, kind of have that home experience first, and then you go on the road, kind of know what to expect a little bit. But like I said, I have North Greene's going to be a good football team this year. I think they'll compete for that Region 1 title down in Single A. I know Cloudlands has kind of ran that show for several years, but I think they'll go and compete and maybe even possibly win the thing. Tilson's done a fantastic job up there. He's kind of flipped the culture around up there. The expectation is to win now. So he's done a great job. Be a pretty good ball game.
I know usually I ask what you expect out of a team's offense, but you kind of know what to expect out of them. I know you played them last year, and you've been on the staff for a few years while Coach Tilson has been there. So you know what to expect on the offense. You talked about Vaught. You talked about Darnell being able to sling the ball a little bit. Yeah. And with Jake Duffy out there on the edge, is there anything that you expect that you wouldn't have expected before? Is there anything different that you expect to see this year?
Not really. It's going into I think, is it his fourth year out there? Yes. So they might add a few wrinkles here and there. But at the same time, it's the first game of the season. They don't want to show everything they have in their playbook right away. So it'll be mostly their base stuff. I expect, a heavy dose of buck sweep at us with Vaught. I expect, Darnell to pull it and maybe run a little, throw it some. But I also expect, they may pull out all the stops to try to get a win. They may throw out some trick plays, some crazy special team plays, anything they can find to find an advantage. Mm-hmm. So you kind of have to prepare for their base stuff, but you also have to prepare for any kind of trickery or crazy special teams or special plays that they might throw at you. So, you expect the base stuff, but you also got to know they have that in their back pocket ready at any time. So,
what do you expect from their defense too? Is it kind of a little bit of the same from last year?
Yeah, I hadn't seen much of their defense, not yet. I've not really sat down and scouted too much. Just kind of what I know off 7-on-7, which is, 7-on-7's not really true football.
Yeah.
You
see the skill guys, but you don't
Yeah.
know a lot of the defensive formations on the
Yeah,
line.
you don't know their front, if they're
Yeah.
an even or an odd front. So as I've told my offensive linemen, we seen 2-3-3 stacks in scrimmages, and I said, guys, just block your assignment. If we do that, it doesn't matter what front they come out in. As long as we go execute our job, we're going to be okay. Take your right step that you need to take. Get on the man, get on your tracks and go, and whatever crosses your face, take it. And the guys understand their job, and I think, like I said earlier, I think it'll be a game one in the trenches. I think we match up well on the outside athletically. Both sides, they match up with us well. We match up with them well. So it'll be a dogfight in the trenches. See who wins this one.
And as always, the end of every interview, whenever we're previewing a game, it's everybody's favorite question. What are your 3 keys to the game?
Ball security, making sure we take care of our job. Make sure we hold on to the ball. I always preach win the turnover battle. Can't turn the ball over. Last year we had 1 turnover right inside the 5-yard line. Can't do that.
Yeah.
Had another one inside, I think, the 20 or the 30. So, ball security is huge. You can't – high school games are too short to give up possessions. Kind of flip that momentum. So the first one's just taking care of the football and win the turnover battle. Second one is we got to make more explosive plays than we allow. So we kind of define explosive plays of run over 12 or a pass over 20. So if we allow or we gain more explosive plays than we allow, we've won that battle.
Yeah.
So that's a key to it. High school, it's hard to go on those 12, 15 play drives on an offense just because they're high school kids. You're going to have a holding call. You're going to have a false start somewhere, and those are drive killers. Mm-hmm. And, speaking of false starts and holdings and things like that, that's the third key. Limit penalties. No bonehead penalties. Mm-hmm. Let's play mistake-free, perfect football, and we'll be all right.
All right, those are the 3 keys to the game against North Greene. That's the preview to North Greene. You got the Jamboree this Friday. Have fun with that little robot.
Hey, man, I'm
you got a
enjoying
name
it.
for him yet?
Not yet. We'll figure something up.
All right.
So he's out there painting some numbers for me right now. So here in just a few minutes, we'll see if we may throw him some stripes down and get some lines going. We'll see how it looks.
Your audience has grown a bit now. You've got a few more out here now.
Hey,
you're starting to get an audience each week. I like that.
Yeah, they're peeking in through the window. You got Big Tuna coming in to take care of some cooler duties for us. So, man, I got some goofy-looking kids out there. They are goofy-looking.
Coach, that's all I've got for you this week, though. Once again, I appreciate you for sitting down with me.
No problem, man.
Best of luck next Friday night, and thank
Appreciate
you all
it.
for watching this week's edition of the Malone Record Service Evan Monroe Show, presented by Critters Corner. We look forward to seeing y'all next time here on Grassroots Media.
Go Buffs.